For all your TCG needs, make sure to check out alphatradingcardgames.com.
What's poppin', everybody? It's the Sabro54. People familiar with my channel would know my affinity with older formats and what I think of Stage 2 Pokemon today. I've talked about how underwhelming Stage 2 and Stage 1 regular Pokemon have been in recent formats, and even saying that is inaccurate. Recent formats, let's just say the last 10 years and more for the most part. But instead of just generalizing and making a more generalized video talking about stage 2s. Beautiful thing about Pokemon TCG Online is the filter options and the way we can, I guess, order the cards, organize the cards here. So I have all of the stage 2 Pokemon that are available in the standard format. I believe a rotation is going to come quite soon, but it's not here yet. So all of these stage 2 Pokemon from the first Sword and Shield set to the latest one, basically. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to look at all of them, but just quickly take a glance at each of them and just see through all of these stage 2 Pokemon. I guess make out a percentage of what's competitive, which pretty much 99% of them won't be. But just quickly look at them. So we got Aegislash right here, 140 HP. You guys seriously think this is going to cut it? No, 3 energy attack, 130 damage, doesn't even get to KOs. And then the big shield, all of your Pokemon take 3 less damage from opponent's attacks. So it's like they got to do 170 damage to 1-hit KO this Pokemon. So it's one of these things that they do that I seriously hate. Mentioned this so many times. They make an underwhelming Pokemon, given it an ability that basically just sugarcoats the underwhelmingness. I don't know what better way to explain it, okay? If this dude had 200 HP as a stage 2, he wouldn't need this ability, it wouldn't do anything. I mean, maybe if we had 200 HP and then had this ability, it would have been a good add-on. But when you're so weak, this effect doesn't matter. Okay, then we got another Aegislash here. Stance change. Switch this Pokemon with an Aegislash in your hand. And yeah, gimmick stuff that doesn't work. Did this card do anything? No. Full Metal Blade, 210. You got to discard 2 Metal Energies. Too difficult to use. Other Pokemon have a similar attack, and you don't gotta pay this cost. Just V Pokemon doing this easier. Didn't do anything. You got this other Aegislash from the same set. I believe this must have been Darkness Ablaze. They do the stance change again. Did these cards do anything? No. Too slow. Multiple stage 2s you gotta use together. Not good at all. We got Aggron here, one of my favorites. Aggron, did this card do anything? 4 energies to do 160 HP. And then Sturdy, if it has full HP and will be knocked out by damage, it's going to survive with 10. Okay? Why can't it be a respectable Pokemon in terms of HP? Why does it need to have this Sturdy? Your opponent can play around it anyway, but I mean, maybe if it could do like 160 for 1 energy or 130 for 1 energy, maybe we could have used this. But another card didn't do anything. Look at this other Aggron. I think this is from Chill and Rain. 240 damage for 4 energies. How are you going to power this up consistently, turn after turn? Let's say you power up one of these guys with Twin Energy, 2 Metal Saucers, you have him ready to go. You can start doing 240, and then your opponent kills this guy in one shot next turn. Are you going to be able to have a second one powered up to respond? No. Is it likely he's going to die in one shot? Yeah, 180 HP. Probably not going to survive, even with 180 HP. And then, the Seismic Rift attack is also going to hurt your guys. First attack on a block 30. This card do anything? No. Okay. Ampharos, 1 for 50 with confusion. 1 for 50. Back in the day, Pokemon could do 1 for 60, that sort of thing. You got the old Donphan Prime. You got LA Kindra, Legends Awakened Kingdra. What other attackers like Lux Jump, uh, Luxray Geo Level X? What other examples, man? Old Dugtrio cards from Gen 5 and Gen 6 even. You know, you do 60 for 1 against Pokemon that you could had 120 HP, 130 HP maybe. You almost do half. If you're gonna do 50 for 1 these days on a VMAX, on like a V Star, you would have to attack like not even 4 times. You gotta attack 5 or 6 times to get a KO. Did this card do anything? No. Another Ampharos. Opponent reveals their hand. If you find any energy, it's gonna do 180 for 2. Did people use this card? You know, 2 attachments. It's gonna die in one shot next turn, 160 HP. You gotta get another stage 2 out next. Didn't do anything. This one, 150 HP, even weaker. This is from what's the set called? Oh my god, Evolving Skies. Yeah, how could I forget, right? Electron Crush. They sort of made this to be able to work with the Fluffy from the same set that gives you energy acceleration. Go through all this trouble, you know, all that energy acceleration using a good stage 1 of this Pokemon. You're gonna max out at 220 damage. It's not even gonna do the job on V stars and V maxes. It's gonna die immediately afterwards. And if you gotta use this, it means you're getting rid of your fluffies that are gonna give you the energy acceleration. It's extremely difficult. 1 for 40, once again, you're gonna have to attack with this 10 times to get a KO. You got this Archeops. They pretty much made this to work with Lugia. Surprise, surprise. You know, this is what these Stage 2 Pokemon are for, if they're going to be used for. It's basically support and food for the VMAXs, the V-Stars, the Rule Box Pokemon. So, this guy is a weak attack, weak HP, standard bottom stats. The only good thing about it is the Primal Turbo, grab special energies from your deck, attach them to your Pokemon, but obviously made it to be used with Lugia. Like if you were gonna bring this guy out the conventional way to power himself up, just to do 120 damage, it's too weak. HP is weak, not gonna be able to do anything. Got this Armaldo too. This is a new card from the latest set, I'm quite sure, Silver Tempest. Fossil Pokemon as well. Boulder Crush 160 for 3. Who's gonna power this up? Is this card doing anything? No. Opponent's active Pokemon had 100 HP or less. It's knocked out. Got a Bastiodon. Is this card doing anything? Once again, the same. You take 30 less damage from V's. So it's not even from everybody. 180 for 3, not doing anything. You guys get what I'm going with this. But let me look at a few more. Blaziken, they're going to give it this double type. 130 for 3. Not going to do much, and then you just attach a basic energy. Even some of the better Stage 2 Pokemon, like let me look at some of my favorites here. Some of the better ones. Where are you? The Single Strike is one. There's a card that I've used. One of the better Stage 2 Pokemon. Fireball Shot, it does 150, but it actually has a very strong ability where you're going to do 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. So, after your opponent gets a few prizes, this guy does become a strong revenge Pokemon, but it's going to be dying turn after turn once again. And if it wasn't for Houndoom, you weren't even going to be able to reliably power him up. You know, you got this guy, Coastal, one of my favorites as well. Strictly an energy acceleration Pokemon, once again, to feed the big Vs. If you're going to make a deck around this guy only, 130 for 4 is underwhelming. You know, this dude, just a wall. I guess you can, people are going to think of him as anti-meta. Weak attack either way. Let's see. Dragonite. This is a new card from Silver Tempest. 180 for 4. How the hell are you going to power that up reliably and consistently? I guess if you get the first one ready and then you use his attack, you can power up the other one. So I guess maybe I could try this out, but I'm really doubtful it would be effective. 160 HP, gonna die in one shot once again. Look at this Empoleon. This one's really ridiculous. You got Water Arrow, 60 damage snipe, 1 for 60 snipe in this day and age on a stage 2 Pokemon. When V stars and V maxes have 280 HP and over that, is this gonna make for a reliable attacker? Like, could you make a stage 2 deck with this guy? So I think you guys get the idea, but I want to look at a few specific cards. Stuff that I used to some very minor success, like this guy. This guy had a lot of potential because of his consistency ability and because he can actually save an energy once he attacks. So because it's DC compatible and you can save the energy, then potentially, if your deck is consistent enough, you can bring out another Gallade turn after turn, and then he can keep attacking. But it's not always going to work, of course, hence why it's not consistent, and you don't see this guy at the top tables. But it was one of the better ones. Once again, let down by that HP. It's not even the damage output of the attacks, it's the damage HP, the biggest thing of all. You know? I want to find Grimmslaw, another one of my favorites that I've used. Dark Oath, this guy from Rebel Clash. People like to say it's a shit set, but anyway, let's not get into that debate. Great ass ability. As long as this Pokemon is active, your opponent's active Pokemon attacks cost 1 colorless more. So, if this guy wasn't going to be dying in one shot turn after turn, and you could actually build him up, get at least 1 or 2 attacks off before he's dead, and then his energy press attack just synergizes with his ability. Could have been a strong Pokemon once again, but outside of when Arceus was legal, and then this guy, I got a bit lucky in a few matches against Arceus the Agapulkia with Zacian when that wasn't standard. I tried to use this card, off screen. Not in videos, what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, trying to use this, trying to get games for it to show you guys, but just not working out. Just keep losing, break in, or you get a good setup, but it's just not enough. You run out of gas. Another stage 2 Pokemon that could have been good. Let's find Torterra. That's another good example. Where are you, Torterra? Oh god, where is it? There he is. This Pokemon saw a little bit of hype. Some people did try and use it, but is this even good anymore? I kind of doubt it. I don't see it anywhere. Just too difficult to use. It's one of the strongest stage 2 Pokemon with 190 HP. It basically doesn't go over that unless you're Wailord, which is a stage 1. So it's got the greatest HP, but it's still going to be dying in one shot. Okay. Arceus V Star, does 200 damage. Just too easy to pull off. I mean, if it's not of the minus of the Turbo DC, the minus 20 that card gives this guy, it would be a one-hit KO. So in Expanded, it's always a one-hit KO. You got Evo Press. You need so many evolution Pokemon to do heavy damage. And, the grass and the colorless requirement makes this guy need something like Cherrim as a partner to power him up. Otherwise, you can't power him up, basically, in time. Turn after turn. So much support, once again, because these stage 2 Pokemon are going to die in one shot. You got this Ursaluna, this I did use in Expanded, and it's only because you could use the triple acceleration energy to make this a one attachment attack, basically. One attachment for 200. That's about it. That's his only benefit. You know, you got this Tyrannodar. Needs 4 fighting energy to work. How are you going to power this up reliably? You got to discard the top 5 cards of your deck too. I mean, it's going to do 250. That's definitely strong. Going to get the job done with a little bit of support. But is anybody powering this guy up? Don't see it. I'm not seeing it. So look at all of these stage 2 Pokemon that are available. Just so many different stage 2 Pokemon. You got this Slacking Single Strike. They had to give it stuff to make it more difficult to use. This Act Freely ability. Like, even if this ability, if you didn't have this ability, do you guys think this deck was going to be a tier 1 deck? Maybe it would have been a tier 2 deck. Maybe it could have been solid. You know, depending on your opponent's bench Pokemon that can control the damage output. But it's just maybe could have done something with Houndoom, but they had to give it this ability. Once again, the 180 HP isn't as high as it seems. It's going to die in one shot. Did not do anything yet again. Crobat, man, I want to look at Crobat for sure. Can't forget about that. I made that short, but unfortunately, because YouTube doesn't let you pick your thumbnail, they picked a shit thumbnail for me, and I didn't really get any views on that short. It's a shame. But the thing that I said in that short, and what I'm going to say now, is look at Crobat. This is a Crobat, one of the newer ones. This one's even newer from the latest set, actually. Cool artwork. 130 HP, free retreat. Okay? And then Sun and Moon Crobats, you know, these Crobats right here. Looks like we don't have any others in standard. 130 HP, stage 2 Pokemon. When Crobat Prime hit 130 HP 13 years ago. 13 years ago, this Pokemon had hit 130 HP for retreat. And Crobat is still getting this amount. Gengar is another example of Pokemon that really just no improvement in HP. In fact, it's getting worse in some ways. This guy has 120. This one has 110. I guess it's because they thought Life Shaker is going to be broken. It didn't. Did anybody even try and use this Life Shaker Gengar besides me? I wonder. But you have a bunch of Gengars here. I guess it's 3 different ones if you don't factor in all the artworks. Not doing much. I mean, besides this one that's used with Zoroark once again for support, and that's about it. Nothing else. Got Golem. Same ability as the Aggron. You know, if it has... No, it actually, this one does damage counters. It's not going to survive with 10 HP. 160 for 3, and you're going to hurt yourself too. Too weak. Anybody using this guy? Anybody? Anyway. So, I think you guys get the idea. I've been rambling long enough in this video, but if you just seriously just take a look at, like, put the filter options as I put over here, and seriously just look at every stage 2 Pokemon from here, nothing is seriously competitive with anything. Anything that's good from all of these Pokemon is used for support. Like maybe this Magnezone. And even these support Pokemon, they end up not seeing play. They're just too slow, too inconsistent. Nobody uses them. And everything else just doesn't work out. Like this Rillaboom, used to see play and then it dropped off. It's too bad. Got this Rhyperior with that 190 HP once again. As good as they're going to give him. But weak ass attacks, too slow to power up. And even if you could, just don't do enough damage. They're going to die next turn. Don't work out. Just do not work out at all. Salamence here has to be an expanded so you can put the double dragon energy. Otherwise, this guy can't really work once again. It really is a shame. I don't know if there's any other more ultimate proof to see that stage 2 Pokemon, they're just not making them competitive. They're not making them in the same league as the V Stars, the V Maxes. You best believe when Scarlet and Violet EXs come out, the stage 2 Pokemon are going to be just like this once again, 170 HP, 180 HP. They're going to be dying in one shot to the EXs. They're not going to be able to work. Only some very small, very specific examples, and just as tier 3 decks like Torterra, you know? Or just very anti-meta Pokemon like this Gallade, where if your opponent does have a bunch of Vs, then I guess this guy can get a big one-hit KO. Then he's gonna die, of course, too. So yeah, I don't know if there's any more ultimate proof. So this is why I sort of always talk about the old school formats and why I prefer them and all the differences. I always go on about those sort of topics. The evidence is in front of you guys. I mean, it really is crazy when you think about it. It really is. It should have been alarming to people. Like, look at all of these stage 2 Pokemon. Like, I do wonder what's the number. Like, if there was a way for us to. If there was like a total number or something. I wish there was a way. Um, it's insane. I mean, a lot of these cards obviously they show the reverse and then the regular form and stuff like that, but even if you don't include those, there's so many stage 2 Pokemon because they make the set so big with so many of these filler cards, all of these different stage 2 Pokemon, stage 1 Pokemon, that they're just there to be there. They do not work. They cannot compete. You got this other Rhyperior here, another card that didn't do anything. All of these cards, how many of them did anything? Did this Machamp do anything from Astral Radiance, or it was Lost Origin actually? I'm not seeing it. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe people are going to tell me they're seeing play. But I anyway, they're not topping shit. These cards are not topping shit. They made these Kingdra cards, like this Kingdra, they should have made it work with one energy. If it worked with one energy, at least if it was going to be dying turn after turn, at least you do 130. So with the choice belt, it's 160 on the Vs. So you can just at least attempt to get 2-hit KOs on some Pokemon. But they gave it 2 for 130, making it useless once again. Just too slow when it's not going to survive. Anyway. Oh, God. So I think I'm just going to finish this video off. I think you guys get the idea. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. This was a completely random video, but I really just wanted to make it. Talk about the Stage 2 Pokemon again. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like. Share this video with your friends. And I'll see you guys next time. I know that rotation is going to be coming. I'm not going to make any rotation videos because I don't have time. The sets are too big. There's so many cards that can be considered good or a considerable loss from the format. So I can't be making those videos. I failed last year to cover all of the Sun and Moon sets, and I'm not even going to try this time. But anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Sailor 94. What a